Hello, my name is Judy. Welcome to the Liberated Multitasker. Today I have two recipes for you. One could be a meal or a side. You let me know what you think. I call it poor man's chili. So this is a dish my mom used to make as a meal. I have 4 brothers, and this is what we called chili growing up. And normally she would brown up some hamburger meat, but today I'm going to use 1 pound of ground sausage. Now if you like things spicy, get the spicy kind. I'm just going to use the regular. I'm going to go ahead and salt and pepper. This is really good. And then I'll break it up. Now I always called this chili. It wasn't until I was married that my husband told me this was a side dish. Hamburger meat and baked beans we called it chili. She'd put a little onion in there every now and then. And now this is what a lot of people treat as a side. But now I don't see why it can't be the main dish. If you add a little cornbread. I'm going to let this continue to brown, and I'll bring you back when it's good and brown. Now our sausage is good and brown, so I'm going to go ahead and transfer it to the paper towel so it can drain before we go to our next step. Now I'm going to cut my eye back on, low. I'm going to use just a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to saute 1 cup of onion. And about 1 cup of sliced bell peppers. And we're just going to let these cook until they're softened. Now, even though my husband calls this a side, I will still eat the leftovers for lunch as if it's a meal. I guess it all depends on how you were raised or what you have on hand. You just let me know in the comments below what you think. Is it 100% a side? Have you ever used it as a meal? What do you think? I've decided to throw a little bit of minced garlic in there as well. Just going to use the squeeze kind. This jar is just about empty, so I think we'll just finish it up. The onions and bell peppers, they were frozen, so they're releasing a lot of liquid. So I'm just going to let all that liquid just cook off before we go to our next step. Now while this is continuing to cook down, I'm going to add some things to my crock pot. Now I'm using this bag to make easy cleanup, but obviously you don't have to. I'm going to use a 28-ounce can of baked beans. This recipe is very easy to double, but I'm just going to make a single recipe. Now I'm going to add the 1 pound of our browned ground sausage. This looks just about right to me. I'm going to go ahead and cook it on low. I'm not going to need it to cook for 8 hours, but I'm just going to cook it on low. My crock pot gets pretty warm. This is what I grew up calling chili. We always had it with cornbread, and it was really good and filling. Comment below and let me know what you think about this dish. Now our next dish is most definitely a side. It's my husband's slaw recipe. We're going to start off with 1 packet of tricolor shredded slaw. Now we're going to add 3/4 cup of mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons of sweet relish. If you want to be keto friendly, you can use dill relish instead. We're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of celery seeds, just sprinkling that on top. A 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We're using Redmond's real salt. One-4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And now we're going to add 1 teaspoon of black pepper. 1 teaspoon of Joe Daddy's Creole seasoning. And 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. We're just going to mix all that together. Now for Labor Day, we actually cooked for sides poor man's chili and my husband's slaw recipe. And we served that with Boston butts he cooked on the grill. And it was so good. We also like to use this slaw on fish tacos or country style rib tacos. My husband will cook the ribs on the grill and we'll chop them up very fine. And it's just so good. Now we've tasted this slaw and we realize it needs a little bit of sweetness. So instead of using sugar, we're using part of a truvia packet. It's just some stevia powder. We're just going to mix that in. As you can tell by the ingredients we've used in this slaw, it's not a super sweet slaw. It's a tangy, vinegary slaw, and we really love it on any type of taco or with any type of pork. Now I'm going to go ahead and taste this, and we think it needs just a little something else. Now my husband's going to taste it as well and see what he thinks. We've decided it needs a little bit of Joe Daddy's. So we're going to add a little bit more Creole seasoning. We didn't want to add any extra salt since the Joe Daddy's also has salt in it. And we're just going to mix that up. Now this is just about done. We're just mixing it. When you make this dish, you want to make sure you do not add too much mayonnaise. But this is just so good. In the comments below, let me know if you prefer a sweet or a tangy slaw. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I really hope to see you soon.